I was talking to someone who'd been learning Russian for several months, and he showed me his notebook, and instead of proper Russian letters, every single word was written with English letters. He wrote "Меня зовут" instead of "Меня зовут." Now, I get it. When you're starting out with Russian, the Cyrillic alphabet can look intimidating. You might think, hey, if I just write everything in English letters, I can skip this whole alphabet thing and get straight to learning Russian. But let me tell you why this approach actually slows down your progress. So, first, let's talk about pronunciation. Take the Russian letter "y", for example. When you write it as the "e" as the "e" in English letters, you're setting yourself up for confusion. Why? Because the "y" sound doesn't exist in English. There's literally no good way to write it accurately using English letters. But these approximations just don't really capture the real sound. So think about what happens when you rely on romanization. It's what we call writing Russian words in English letters. You're essentially creating a double translation in your head. First, you see the English letters, and then you have to remember what the Russian sound they're supposed to represent. And only then can you actually say the word. It's like trying to learn to drive while looking in the rear view mirror the whole time. So let me show you a cool trick that makes learning the alphabet way easier. Use cognates. These are words that sound similar in both languages. So let me show you what I mean. So let's take the word restaurant, for example. In Russian, it's restoran. And when you already know how to say it, you can match the sounds that you're hearing to the letters. You can see that the r that looks like an English P, well, now you know it makes an R sound. Or look at the word sportsman. It's basically the same word, sportsman, that you can easily figure out that the CS makes an S sound. And this is so much more effective than trying to memorize letters in isolation. You're learning the alphabet through words you already know how to say, so your brain makes these natural connections. By the way, if you want a list of 750 Russian English cognates, download my free cheat sheet in the link in the description. I cannot guarantee this will be online forever, so I recommend you download it today. Because here's what's interesting. The Russian alphabet only has 33 letters, and compare that to, for example, the Chinese or Japanese, where learners need to memorize thousands of characters. Plus, you already know some Russian letters, whether you realize it or not. The A, the K, the M, the O, the T. These are exactly the same as in English. So in reality, you're already partway there. Let me share something from my own experience. When I started learning Russian, I spent the first week or so just familiarizing myself with the alphabet. Not drilling it intensively, just exposing myself to it. I would look at Russian words, try to sound them out, and listen how native speakers pronounce them. And within, let's say, 2 weeks or so, reading Cyrillic started feeling pretty natural. So what's the practical way to approach this? Here's what I recommend. Start by learning basic Russian phrases through audio. This could be YouTube videos or an audio course like my course, Russian Conversations Unlocked. Just listen and repeat. Then, during your first week, spend some time getting familiar with the alphabet. Don't pressure yourself to memorize it all at once. Then, practice reading Cyrillic every day with the words you're already learning or with the cognates. Even if it's just like a couple of minutes, consistency is key. And this is where the cognate sheet can come in handy. So here's a question I often get. But what if I make mistakes while learning the alphabet? Well, everyone does. You don't need to have perfect pronunciation right away. The key is just to start using it from the beginning. Don't worry about being perfect. It's better to read slowly and correctly than quickly with the wrong letters. Let's do a quick reality check. Would you try to learn English using only phonetic spelling? Would you write tough as tough or enough as enough? Of course not. So why do it with Russian? So the earlier you start reading Cyrillic, the faster you'll progress in Russian. It's like learning to type properly instead of using just 2 fingers. It might take a little bit longer at first, but it will save you countless hours in the long run. And I've helped hundreds of students learn Russian, and I can tell you that those who embrace the Cyrillic alphabet from the start progress much faster than those who try to avoid it or sideskip it. Now, if you haven't downloaded the cognate sheet yet, check the link in the description.